How to get lots of different colours in one mould. Now, a lovely lady called Beccy Ellis on Facebook has set her heart on this mould. It's one of my favourites of all time, to be fair. Now, she was asking how to get all those different colours like we see in the pictures on Amazon and whatever. So I'm going to show you. So first of all, what you're going to need is your choice of colours. I've got, here we go, look, I've got a few here. I'll show you those in a moment. And you're going to need a measuring pot to do your resin. Now, I'm bearing in mind here that Becky's question was in an ultraviolet curing resin Facebook group, and therefore she might not be familiar with epoxy. This mould is too big for ultraviolet curing resin. You're going to need epoxy. Now, the epoxies I use tend to be 1:1. So equal parts of part A and part B, and then you mix them together. This is quite a high viscosity one. See, it's quite thick. The more viscous they are, the less they will let the colours merge into each other. Now, this is actually a fast cure one, so I'm pushing my luck because fast cure epoxies tend to be for smaller moulds, but I know the sides of this aren't too thick. So although it's quite a good size, it's not too chunky. So I should be able to get away with this. Now, if your resin is less viscous, it's a normal 1:1 resin, then the colours are more likely to merge together. So the easy answer to that is either let it stand for half an hour first so it thickens, or put a tiny, tiny dot of clear Elmer's school glue in. And I mean a tiny dot. Not even a milliliter, not even that, just a tiny, tiny bit on the end of a toothpick will do it. That will make your resin go thick. But this resin is thicker to start with. Now, I am stirring it too quickly, so anybody who's new to epoxy resin, stir it more slowly than that because you can see what happens. It's got bubbles in it. If you stir a good quality resin nice and slowly, you won't get those bubbles. But I know that in a good quality resin, the bubbles will dissipate on their own anyway. And of course, you can get debubbling machines and there's all sorts of things you can do. But in my case, I'm just going to let that stand because I know that will clear. So the usual tips that I give with epoxy resin is stir a lot slower than I do and stir it until it's gone really clear. You'll see it has like a cloudiness to it, a kind of stringy look to it until it's fully mixed. I'm going to wipe my stirring stick off. This is a silicone stirring stick, so it's wiped clean and can be used again and again. The resin I'm using is from Let's Resin, as is the stirry stick actually, now I come to think about it. Right, we're now going to split this into different pots. Let me zoom you out a little bit. There we are, so you can see what I'm doing, so that we can have all our different colours. Some I'm only going to want a little bit in, some I'm going to want a lot in. What I'm going for here is a kind of a marbled effect, but we'll see what we end up with. There's lots of different ways of actually pouring it. Get whatever effect you want. But this will be a simple sort of marbled, bit of a colour explosion, and in some very subtle colours. Obviously, you can mix brighter colours. You can mix whatever colours you want. Now, the colours I'm going to be using are some beautiful mica powder pigments from Dianca Pours. I've got two of those. We've got a gorgeous purple and this beautiful blue. I've got this sparkly one from Create and Bloom called Mystic Lagoon. And I've got some floating metallic silver. Those are all powders of different sorts. And then I've got some pigment paste. This one happens to be from Tea Expert, and that is a liquid, and it's a thick colour pigment. So I'll show you what each of these do. First of all, let's go in with the liquid one. Now, there's lots of different sorts of liquid pigments. You can get alcohol inks, you can get just standard liquid pigments, resin dyes. What else is there in liquids? Pastes are my favourite, simply because look how little I just used to get that completely opaque. So I'm going to make sure it's well stirred in. That's my first pot done. Look at that. Completely opaque really fast. 5%, I think some people have said 10% of your colour to resin ratio. And that is simply because if you put too much of a liquid pigment in, you will find that it doesn't cure. It really mess it up. Whereas the powdered ones, you can go a bit crazy because they're dry. You see that? Now that is a mica pigment. Don't forget, you will need PPE, personal protective equipment, when you're using epoxy. The resins I use do not give off VOCs. I've tested them all. They really don't. So they are relatively safe. But once you start mixing things in with them, who knows what's going to happen? So be on the safe side, get yourself a respirator mask, a proper chemical grade one, and a well-ventilated room. My craft room is just my spare bedroom, but I have got windows open, I've got fans going, and I've got a VOC remover. And trust me, there's never any VOC issues in this room. The VOC remover is a carbon-based air purifier. Just one I got from Amazon. There are no risks being taken here, really. Okay, so there's our purple, and you can see how a mica powder goes all shimmery and fantastic like that. Look at that, isn't that lovely? The rest of the bubbles will carry on coming out while that is in there. Then here's our blue, which is a beautiful sparkly blue. I'm going to put quite a lot. I want the colour to be really strong. If you put less, it'll just be translucent, which is sometimes what you want. I want these colours to be really good and solid because I know that the colours that Beccy was looking at in those Amazon adverts were really strong. I think they were probably pigment pastes because they're not shimmery. These are shimmery. Pigment pastes, you can get them shimmery, but they are more, in the pictures she's looking at, they're more like, I'll put it on screen actually, but they're more like solid colours like that. Pastes are best for that, I always think. Now, this is a slight colour flippy one. Look, it's a beautiful blue, but it's got that colour flippy sheen in it as well. Gold to it. Wipe my stick off. So we've got our purple, we've got our blue. Next will be the sparkle. I mean, this is going to be very sparkly already, but this is extra sparkly. Look at that. This stuff's incredible. It's similar to this, but it's got a lot more sparkle. So a combination of those should be good, which then leaves us some clear. Probably too much clear. Let's just go. I'll stir these again in a moment. These are just old yogurt pots, by the way, that I'm using. You can wipe them out and reuse them, or just let the resin dry and reuse them. I often do that as well. Now, this is a funny one. This is a floating pigment. Now, you don't have to use it as a floating pigment. I very often just use it as a silver, but it will sit on the surface. Look at this. I don't know if you can see that. I've got some sun coming in this morning. There's sparkle going everywhere, but that looks like molten silver. So I kind of like a little bit of that. And you'll see it float to the surface, and it will get even more so because the pigment floats. That'll get more molten silver looking as we sit and watch. Now I'm going to put all this away because you can already see what's happening. It's going everywhere. Another reason for wearing a mask, you do tend to get, we spray alcohol around and all sorts of things with epoxy resin. And alcohol and a lot of the stuff we used to clean up with is quite nasty stuff. And of course you get all these little sparkles floating around in the air, which are very pretty, but they're not great if you breathe them in. Even if they're technically safe, you don't want to be breathing in anything that shouldn't be going in your lungs, do you? Okay, you can see that's starting to float to the surface already. Can you see that? Anyway, we're going to start chucking these in now. We've got to decide what order. Now, like I said, there are different ways of doing this. You could pour them all into one pot and do like a dirty pour, so that the colours kind of mix as you pour. You can pour one in at a time. You can use a split cup that's got lots of separate compartments. That will pour like a dirty pour as well. But this is how we're going to do this one. So I'm going to start with this sparkle. I'm going to tip the cup very slightly to one side. This is going to be a dirty pour. I don't do dirty pours very often, but I'm going to pour most of my white in. By dirty, we just mean that the colours are mixed when they go in rather than pour them in separately afterwards. There's our purple. There's our other blue. This is the one with the gold sheen in it. And then we're going to do some of the floating silver. Not quite sure how visible the floating silver and the white will become. I'm just hoping they add a bit of an extra marble to it. Notice we're pouring always in the same place. So there's lots of different ways you can pour this. This is just an example. So have fun experimenting is my message to you. Pour them in different orders. Pour them straight into the mould. I mean, you can just pour it in, then the next colour, then the next colour. Do what you like. And also experiment with putting glitter in layers. There's all sorts you can do. The real trick to keeping the colours separate, though, is use a thicker resin. One way or another. Refer you back to what I said earlier about the different ways of making it thicker. This is thicker to start with. Right, I'm just going to keep a little bit back because it could be that I need a bit more for the lid, but we'll see how we get on with this. Forget how much this mould holds, actually. Some mould it actually tells you on the instructions how much it holds. I'm a devil for guessing, so give me for the lack of information on that. I always mix up too much because I know I've always got a spare mould handy to pour into. So now what we're going to do is pour from the opposite side. I usually find that has the best effect. Let me just bring the camera down a bit for you, so you can see this actually pouring out and you can see what it's doing. Excuse the messy desk. Too much going on at once. So as you can see, the colours are kind of mingling as they go in. Now I'm hoping we will retain some separation in those colours, but we shall soon see. Yeah, I'm going to have to mix some more up for the lid, aren't I? But at this point, I'm just going to tip in these last bits. And you should see that we get a different effect at the bottom because of pouring the colours in separately. It really is a case of experimenting. It's immense fun. Oops, making a right old mess though, aren't I? It's going everywhere. I'll have a good clean up while we're waiting for it to cure. Oh, good clean up while we're waiting for it to cure. Never fear. Right, I'm going to mix a bit more up of each colour, and it's just a case of doing the same thing. Same with the lid. Sometimes find I get bubbles trapped in the little knobby bits. So for anybody using this mould for the first time, just bear in mind that it's worth filling that up first and tipping it around a bit and giving it just giving it a little bit of a squeeze like that to let any bubbles out before you go ahead and pour. Right, I'll do the same with the rest of it, and then I will see you for the demold. Now, one of the pictures Beccy had seen on Amazon, I think it was Amazon, it looked like it was on fire, and the colours were very, very defined and separate. So I'm going to show you what I mean about letting the colours. And one of the pictures that Beccy had seen on Amazon did show very, very fiery colours and very finely separated. I suspect actually the pictures aren't real. However, I think we can get pretty close to replicating that. They're very fiery colours in that image. So we're going to put quite a lot of, again, the mica powders. Let's have some glitter, and let's have a pigment paste out of a pot this time as well. So we've got different colours, and I am letting this resin sit. Now, this is a fast cure resin. I'm putting a lot of colour in here, as you can see, because I want it to be really strong. But this is a fast cure resin, so I can't let it sit for too long with the normal epoxy that most people would be using, because I really wouldn't suggest you usually use fast cure for this sort of mould. I would leave it at least half an hour, maybe even 3/4 of an hour, 45 minutes, something like that, to really thicken up, or do the trick with the glue. With this, 10 minutes should be enough because it's, like I said, it is a fast cure. Here we've got a pigment paste, a liquid one. Again, this is from Tea Expert. Being so heavily pigmented, the pigment pastes, like I said earlier, you don't need to use as much, which does also mean that you're not going to hit that limit, that 10%, 5%, whatever it is, depending on what you're using, limit of how much liquid pigment you can put in your resin before it stops it curing. It's another reason for using pastes. They're a lot intenser. You use a lot less. You will probably find as well that even the mica powders, there are stronger ones. These are high grade mica pigments. So let's have a bit more yellow. There we are. High grade mica pigments, you don't need as much of the high grade mica pigments. You don't need anywhere near as much of the paste. High grade mica pigments as well, you don't need anywhere near as much of the colour. This one's from Create and Bloom, and that's a paste as well. Very thick, these are. So colours vary. You'll find that the cheaper grade colourings, you need to use a lot more of to get the effect that you want. Be it a powder or be it a liquid. And you'll find that the better quality ones mix in a lot easier as well. So just be aware that it might be worth you spending that little bit more, particularly if it's colours that you're going to use a lot. This bright red is fantastic. I use it a lot. Hence, I've got a really big pot of it. You can get smaller pots too. So it is worth it. Now, I'm going to put a bit of glitter. Let's have a good layer of glitter. I'm going to put a lot. Now, don't forget dry stuff. You can put as much as you like. Now, I don't know. I think I might need... Do I put gold in as well? Is the glitter going to be enough? I think the glitter might be enough. Okay, so there's that. To top these up, I had got plenty of surplus resin so I could see how much I'd got of each. And like I said, I'm just going to let these sit. So I will be back shortly. Blink of an eye for you, of course, when these have sat for a bit. and thickened even more. I've got a confession. Battery on my phone, which I film with, went flat and I hadn't noticed. Anyway, suffice it to say that I poured those colours, the red shades, the yellows and everything that you just saw me mixing, just one after the other rather than mixing them in a pot and then pouring them. So I just poured red, then the orange, then the yellow, then the glitter, and so on. After having let them sit for about 20-25 minutes, something like that. So, do you want to see what they came out like? I'll just, let me just flip the camera around. So here's the little blue pot. As you can see, the colours did marble, but they blended quite well without completely losing the different colours. You see? Got the white, we've got the shimmery bit, we've got streaks, we've got lines up under the rim here. Inside's rather interesting too. Look at the marbling there. It'd be nice if that was on the outside, wouldn't it? However, I think that's absolutely lovely. And the lid fits nicely in there. So anybody thinking of buying this rather cost-effective little mould, yeah, I mean, it's, like I said earlier, it's one of my favourites. So that's how to get some nice blended marbling like that. Now, the red one. As I said, I pulled the colours in separately rather than mixing them up, and I had let it sit. So what's actually happened here, as you can see, there's a bit of a divide between the colours because I'd let the resin thicken first. I particularly like that bit. I poured the glittery stuff down one side and it kind of did that. Isn't that great? Now it's traced around the edges of the yellow and there's a little bit around here, and that's because glitter sinks basically. If you wanted a perfect dividing line, either let each colour almost cure, or in fact let it completely cure before you pour the next one in, and so on. And that will give you an absolutely perfect line. But I love how that's come out. The lid, same again, rather lovely. Got some white bits. That must have been some bits that were on the mould from previous uses. We should clean that first. But there we go. Isn't that lovely? I had got a bit left over of each, so I poured the dregs of the blue into this little heart bowl, which I'm very pleased with. I love this little mould. Did end up with a little bubble there. That's what happens if you get a bubble trapped around the edges. I did get one, but all the same, I rather love it. And then this, I thought we could demold this together. I've got a mould that I can't remember what it is. I've got a feeling it's a capybara, so I chucked the leftovers into this one. A little bit of trimming to do there by the look of it. Let's see how it comes out. Here's a capybara. Oh, that's funny. Sleeping capybara. Now, it's a satin finish mould. So as you can see, there's a difference between a shiny mould. Bear in mind, that's the same resin. Shiny mould, satin finish mould. If your original is satin finish and you make a mould, then your mould will be satin finish, and then whatever comes out of it will be satin finish. But of course, what you can do is coat it with UV resin, or you could varnish it if you really want it to be shiny. I might do that later. Don't know. It's cute though, isn't it? Anyway, I hope that answers Becky's question, and anybody else who wanted to know how you get multicolours in resin. There's loads of other ways. You just have to experiment, but that's your two obvious ways, I would say. So I hope that was helpful. And yeah, if you like this one, I've got a whole playlist of beginners videos. I'll pop the playlist link up here towards the end of this video, and yeah, that's where you'll find a load more help. See you for the next one. Bye!